In this video, we will talk about the 4 that are standing out right now for their disrespectful dices back-to-back loses, and many members locked up. We will be doing the start to end breakdown. Make sure to subscribe and DM us on Instagram at Woodbridge Daily for more video ideas. This beef would start after Rack and Tall would be in a brawl with 1C members over a girl where they would send back and forth dices. After this brawl, there would be another with Rack getting trashed by 1C members in gym, where the next day Mari Rax would get his get back and stomp out a 1C member. Shortly after this, the 4 would allegedly get their first point on them, where 4 members would catch 1C member Chip sitting in a parked car, where he would be supposedly be waiting on a girl with shots firing at him, where he would die.
Trying to figure out who shot a 17-year-old boy in his car.
Had not been able to raise him on his phone. They tracked him over here to the subdivision where they found his Ford Mustang parked in a secluded area.
What a horrible discovery for that family. We don't know how long that teen had been missing, but detectives are hoping that someone who knew him may be able to tell them more about his plans leading up to his death, especially who he was meeting up with.
After this, the 4 would waste no time with Rack dropping a diss song right after. After this, 3 of 4 members of the shooting would be locked up for the shooting. These members would be moving sloppy after the shooting, even with alleged shooter Ace going on stage with Lil Durk in public while being wanted. With Ace, Manny, and Tall getting locked, Tall would tip on himself, where him and Manny would get harsher charges being trigger pullers, and Ace would be released 3 years later. After more dices and back and forth trolling, the 4 would take AL with Mari being gunned down in front of his garage. After this, the 4 would fall back from the beef, where Rack and Melly would pick up basketball, mainly Melly being known for it. After taking basketball serious, Melly would start to get noticed. He would get back-to-back offers while Rack would still be involved in gang activity, getting him kicked from school. With Melly name rising, he would start getting interviews and be respected around the area for hooping, but outside of his hooping life, he was still hanging with the 4 dissing Opps still. Melly would be known in basketball for his finishing and passing skills, where he would average 21 points a game and 6 assists with 2 steals only in his junior year. He would have offers from Frostburg State Bowie University and his top offer Virginia Tech. But this would all be cut shortly before entering his senior year. Melly would keep posting his location, where he would eventually getting shot outside his house in front of his mom and sisters. This would be a big loss for 4, with him being a star basketball player and Rack's cousin. Rack would pick up rap more after this, where he would do features with some Woodbridge artists, where he would end up locking in with LO3. The 4 and 3 would waste no time after clicking up, where members Whack Turk and Rack would bag Williamstown member, breaking the score for his phone and shoes. This would start up the Williamstown and 4 beef, where shortly after Rack would be shot at a house party where he would pull through. With the 4 clicking with the 3, the 4 gain more Opps, where they start beefing with the V. The 2 are DG and CTB. The 4 and 3 would drop back-to-back songs together, also starting to get into free cars and takedowns, where member TD would get locked, and Turk from GTV would say he was hot, causing the 3 and Yap to fall out. This beef wouldn't get deep, but as soon as TD got home, he would clear his name up, where the 3 would start getting active back-to-back.
Why you running? Hey, why you running, bitch? Fuck your dad, pussy, your man.
The 4 and 3 would chase 2 members, jump and strip a V member, and hit back-to-back takedowns in Fredericksburg. Other 3 members would pick up and join the rap scene, with Rack and Jank with Whack and Jay joining in.
I'm pushing the whip when I slide through the V. I blow it up and I lay down my heat. I make his ass dance when I blow at his feet. I post in the lanes, you know how I be. That nigga try to dance, now he RIP. I'm richer than ever, they wanna be me. Walk down gang, got hit out his shoe. They be dissing on street, but they mad on the news. I hop at that free car, do what I do. I'm fucking this bitch, still pussy too loose. I'm a healthy nigga and I'm chasing the blues. That man's a bitch, he got put on the news. I slide.
Right here, Jank would be dissing Fatman CTB member, who would be caught lacking and beat with bats by 3 members. Shortly after this, CTB members would get back, smacking 3 members Jank with a gun and beating him. The 4 and 3 would end up getting sloppy, with first TD would get locked up following behind him Whack, then Rack would get locked up right after. Rack would do around 10 months where Wack and TD are still locked up for their cases, while being locked 4-member Dirty would be killed early Sunday morning walking his dog on his grandma's street. With 3 members and 4 members both laying low, they would end up falling out, while Rack being locked. Another 4-member that goes by WAP would get locked for being the 4th shooter in the Chip murder. With multiple members be locked or dead, the 4 would remain quiet until Rack would come home, where Williamstown would take a loss with member Cy and other member Really Kirkin getting shot, where the 4 name would start to rise again, with them dissing the fallen member Cy.
Hours ago, we spoke exclusively with the deceased victim's mother. Tonight, she's turning to the community for answers. She wants to know what happened and also wants to know more information about the investigation and someone who is looking forward to 10th grade. She identifies him as 15-year-old Simon Lumpkin Jr. She says he was a star basketball and football player at Freedom High School in Woodbridge and was excited about starting.
Screaming, help, 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 help. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Sean.
I heard my son was fighting with 2 other little boys. Well, him and his 2 friends was fighting. Someone pulled out a gun and shot them 3. And I guess my son got the magic number.
With this not being the 4's work, they would still put it in their hands to diss him, with this being a tragic loss around the area. They would diss him so hard cause a couple months before this Williamstown would catch 4-member C that lacking while skipping school and smack him out for dissing fallen member WAP and Zay. With the 4 dissing Cy, they would get into it with his brother Slime for Shitty from GTV, where 4-member Bag that would bag Slime for Shitty for a watch. Allegedly a couple months after this, the 4 would get the next points since Chip, where they would get Williamstown member Hugo's drop break into his house and shoot him and his girlfriend, where Rack and Ceda would be locked up shortly after months after. With the Rack locked up, 4 members would go on a bagging spree, bagging GTV members, SMG members, Williamstown members, and CSO members, where they would go on a move in DC, where it would go wrong with Bag that getting shot in the chest. Williamstown members would leave no time to waste, where they would diss Bag that saying they hope he dies, where he would somehow pull through. With 4 looking weak, they would take another L, with very node member Dre getting killed in the back of Uber next to his close man Slat. Shortly after this, the 4 would click up with Group 700 Outriver Woods going against Williamstown, where they would had run into Williamstown members at the mall, with them going back and forth and getting into an altercation there. The 4 and 700 would be hated together, with them dropping some of the most disrespectful disses on their story. This wouldn't last long, where 700 member Baby WAP would be on point and see that 4-member Bag that was planning on bagging him, where they would fall out going back and forth each other, where shortly after this 700 would click up with the 4's Old Men 3, with Baby WAP and Jank dropping a diss on them.
How the fuck you get back if you got you a fuck? 19 to a test like come out your hood. Stop speaking on leak, where the fuck is your rep? We was tight as a bitch, that Gotti and trip. Black box on the gunshot, see how it hit. Heard the 4 guy hit, he was running. Heard the 4 guy hit, he was running his lip. They said me gon' punish, I don't care about no sweat. Real walk shit, they almost called me a beast, so they called me a bully while I'm on they rap. Nigga free on the menu, time in the pen, big bag of the minute, it was betting that bitch. Like a fool gon' play that shit, ain't saying all the guys that's free.
The 4 would go on dissing spree, where they would show text of Baby WAP asking them to get him tight, and dissing Williamstown members Fats, who was shot 2 weeks before this, and would go as far as to make AI videos of all their Opps dead men.
Know why you let my son get shot in the chest? Really, Kirkin got me crying on the news like a
After the 4 going over the top dissing would catch up to them, where Rack, right-hand man's Dragon Rack's brother, would be shot and killed in a drive-by later that night, where their Opps would waste no time dissing him.
Hey, Baghdad, I'm dissing that young.
After this, the 4 would jump into beef with rapper Stop, leaking for unknown reason. Stop leaking right hand, with Little Kai would get on live dissing the 4, where they would make a video of his dead cousin Trail Glocko flying away. With the 4 in all these beefs, I'm pretty sure it's not long till they take another L. I'm genuinely surprised how long